Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 5 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab, scroll down to grade 5 math, and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter fractions and mixed numbers. The lessons we're going to cover today are round mixed numbers, equivalent fractions, reduced fractions to lowest terms, and least common denominators. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important exam definitions as well. And I'm on grade 5 math. The chapter we're on right now is fractions and mixed numbers. Let's just start with the lesson that is round mixed numbers. What is 336 whole 2 by 4 rounded to the nearest whole number? 336 whole 2 by 4. So basically, you have to see the fractional part. The fractional part is 2 by 4. If the you need to compare the fractional part to 1 by 2. If the fractional part is equivalent, is equal or greater than 1 by 2. So here the fraction part is 2 by 4. If you simplify 2 by 4, you can divide them by the greatest common number, that is 2. They are exactly equal to half, right? So the fractional part is equivalent to 1 by 2. You need to round up. Round up means you need to add 1 to the whole number. So it would be 337. Let's just start with the test questions. What is 57 whole 4 over 5 rounded to the nearest whole number? So 57 whole 4 over 5. Okay, so 57 whole 4 over 5. The fraction part is 4 by 5. So when you compare the fraction part to 1 by 2, 4 over 5 is greater than 1 by 2, right? So that means you need to round up. Round up means you need to add 1 to the whole number. So it would be rounded to 58. The correct option is 58. Option number one is the correct option. It would be rounded to 58. What is 46 whole 1 over 4 rounded to nearest whole number? So the fractional part is 1 over 4. Just compare the fractional part to 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is 1 by 4 is less than half. So you need to round on the same whole number, that is 46. Can you guys please stop chatting? You guys are here to learn. So please focus on the 11. That is 46. Option number one is the correct option. What is 8 whole 2 by 3 rounded to the nearest whole number? So which is the correct option? 8 whole 2 over 3. So just look at the fraction part. That is 2 over 3. And 2 over 3 is greater than half. So it would be, so you need to round up, it would be rounded to 9. That is, it would be rounded off to 9. What is 727 whole 5 over 10 rounded to nearest whole number? 727, that fractional part is 5 over 10. The fractional part is 5 by 10, that is exactly equal to 1 by 2. So you need to round up, it would be rounded off to 728. That is 728. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is 802 whole 5 by 10 rounded to nearest whole number? So which is the correct option? That is 803. Option number one is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is reduced fractions to equivalent fractions. Let's just start with the lesson. Type the missing number that makes these fractions equal. 3 over 4 equals 6 over 8. So you have to see how these fractions are equivalent. Let me just tell you an easier way. That is 6 over 3 times what number is 6? 3 times 2 is 6. You have to multiply the numerator and denominator with exactly the same number. That is 4 times 2 is 8, so the missing number is 8. Let's just start with the test questions. Which fraction is equivalent to 1 over 4? So you have to find the equivalent fraction to 1 by 4. So the equivalent, just look at the first one. You have to find the one that is equivalent to 1 by 4. We have 2 by 7. 1 times 2 is 2. But 4 times 2 is not 7, so that is not the equivalent fraction. Look at the first one. 1 times 3 is 3, and 4 times 3 is 12. So they are exactly equivalent. The correct option was 3 over 12. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 3 over 12. Which fraction is exactly equivalent to 4 over 6? Four over 6. Very good. That is option number 2. 2 by 3. It is option number 2 is the correct option. Type the missing number that makes these fractions equal. 3 over 4 equals 6 over the missing number. That is 6 over 8, option number 1 is the correct option. Can you guys please stop chatting? You guys are here to learn or to say hi, hello to each other. Which fraction is equivalent to 9 over 12, which is the correct option? Nine over 12 is equivalent to 3 over 4. The last option is the correct option. Which fraction is equivalent to 2 over 12? The correct option is 1 over 6. Option number 4 is the correct option. Type the missing number that makes this fraction equal. 1 over 2 equals the missing number divided by 12. So which is the correct option? The correct option is 6 over 12. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself. Wait, 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 let me just move on to the next lesson. The next lesson is reduce fractions to the lowest terms. Let's just start with the lesson. So basically, writing the fraction in the lowest term means you have to divide both numerator and denominator by the greatest common number if they can be divided. Like here, you are given 5 over 8. 5 is a prime number. Let's just start with it. So 5 is a prime number. That means prime numbers cannot be divisible by any number, right? Rather than 1 or itself. So that means they do not have any number, the largest number that can divide other than 1. So there it is exactly the same 5 by. Let's just start with the test questions. Write 2 by 4 in lowest term. 2 by 4 it is. Let's just find a greatest common number that can divide both numerator and denominator. That is 2, just divide them by 2, right? So 2 divided by 2 is 1 and 4 divided by 2 is 2. That is 1 over 2. Option number 1 is the correct option. So the fraction of the lowest term is 1 over 2. Five by 8 in lowest term. So 5 is a prime number. That means the only number that can divide both numerator and denominator is 1. So that is already in the lowest form. Option number 3 is the correct option. 6 by 9 in lowest terms. So which is the correct option? That is 6 over 9. So let's just find a number that can divide both numerator and denominator. So that is 3. Let's just divide them by 3. 3 times 2 is 6 and 3 times 3 is 9. So the lowest form is 2 by 3. Option number 2 is the correct option. 2 by 3 it is. No one is answering the questions. Why? Write 3 by 6 in lowest term. So which is the correct option? Correct option is 1 over 2. Option number 2 is the correct option. Very good. 3 by 9 in lowest term. So which is the correct option? That is exactly equal to 1 over 3. Option number 2 is the correct option. Three by five, right? 3 by 5 in lowest terms, which is the correct option. That is already in the lowest form, right? Just write it as it is. That is 3 by 5. Two by 6, right? 2 by 6 in lowest term. So which is the correct option? We can write 2 by 3 in the 2 by 6 in the lowest term as 1 over 3. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself. Very good. Let me just move on to the next lesson. The next lesson is least common denominator. What is the least common denominator of 1 by 3 and 5 by 9? The denominators are 3 and 9, 3 and 6. You need to write down the multiples of 3 and 6, and then you have to find the smallest multiple. So just look at the multiples, the denominators. The denominators are 3 and 6. You need to write their multiples, right? Multiples mean the tables. You have to look for the smallest common number. Let's just start with the test questions here. The fractions are 3 by 4 and 5 by 8. So their denominators are 4 and 8. Let's just write down the multiples of 4 and 6. So multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. And then the multiples of 8, sorry, not 6, 8, 16, 24, and so on. So you need to look for the smallest common number, that is 8. So the least common denominator is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is the least common denominator of 7 over 8 and 1 over 3? So you have to write down the multiples of 3 and 8. I'm going to write the multiples of 3 first. That is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24. 8 times what is 8? 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 5 is 40. So the smallest common number is 24. Got it? So the correct option is 24. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is the least common multiple of 1 by 6 and 2 by 5? Is 30. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is the least common least common denominator of 7 over 8 and 7 over 9? So which is the correct option? 72 it is option number 2 is the correct option. Sorry. What is the least common denominator of 9 by 10 and 2 by 3, which is the correct option? Okay, it is okay. You can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we are working on grade 5 math, which after we are working on is fractions and mixed numbers. The lessons we have covered today are round mixed numbers, equivalent fractions, reduce fractions to the lowest terms, and least common denominator. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons you just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lessons, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you. Or either you can write down the question in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. Any questions? Okay, then that's all for today session. Bye everyone.